products has never been more critical. The need for environment-friendly and energy-efficient cooling solutions are becoming more pressing than ever. Various concerns are growing, including climate change and the detrimental impact of the traditional refrigerants on the environment. When we talk of sectoral drivers which are going to propel us successfully into the next era, we all should be ready to challenge and overcome known factors and certain unknown dimensions. These dimensions and factors I know we all foresee, but we are all still not trying to acknowledge these as challenges or hindrances. Today, we all know that we are in the position which allow all of us to be global trendsetters and leaders to lead the world as we intend to. The next big unseen dimension is the potential depletion of Earth's resources against the backdrop of rapidly growing world population. We all by now have known that traditional patterns of economic growth are not sustainable in the long term, especially in view of further industrial development. When we talk of sustainable development, we should know that this approach, which hinges on the consensus on combining economic growth and ecological responsibility, is known as the sustainable development. While we embrace innovation and we must also prioritize sustainability, the environmental impact of the cold chain industry cannot be ignored, and it is our responsibility to export eco-friendly refrigerants, optimize transportation routes, reduce energy consumption. Sustainable practices not only benefit the environment, but also enhance the efficiency and the cost effectiveness of our operations. This is generally what we speak about when we talk of the cold chain. Next slide. I'll just go through what we have been doing in terms of, to get the cold chain in the horticulture sector. What we have been doing, we are now just getting into, there is a study which was conducted in 2014 to understand what is the present infrastructure that is standing in India and presently in terms of horticulture. We are going to do a next study in, it's going to start in 1 month's time. So we are going to do a new study which will kind of tell us what is the technology, what is the application, design, capacity. All these things are going to be conducted on the study, and we will come up with a report which will tell us where presently we are standing in the cold chain development and what parameters we have achieved from 2014 to 2023. Next slide. In alignment with the ever-growing sustainable practices, we have already given, we are trying to also study on energy transition, which is how much of energy we can convert from the present fossil fuels which we are using to the renewable sources. This study has been already given to one organization by the Shakti Sustainable Energy Foundation, and we will try to see how much decarbonization we will be able to do in the present cold chain infrastructure and add to the, how much value we can add to the net zero, which is where we are committed by 2070. Next slide. Which I already said, we are also trying to kind of make a uniform cold chain policy. But what we also understand in NCCD, we have different kind of, guidelines for setting up these cold chains. So what we have done is we have set up 7 committees. Next slide. So this is how we have constituted sectors. This is cold storage, design, material handling. We have commodity specifications. We are also looking at the value chain, where we are adding another 5 or 6 more products depending upon what kind of temperature and humidity they will be requiring. Then refrigeration system and insulation materials. This is CA room component safety. CA is basically controlled atmosphere, which is presently used in, for apples in Kashmir, where we store apple for more than 6 to 7 months as fresh as it is harvested from the tree. Next slide. This is alternate energy and packaging. We are also working on this. Reefer vehicle logistics and supply chain, automation, electrical components. This is how we are now working on this. There are already 4 meetings have been done with industry and stakeholders, and the guidelines are set to come in another 6 to 8 months, which will become a kind of which can be used by any of the sectors they use as a uniform guidelines for setting up their cold chain facilities. Next slide. As an initiative to reach market, what we have done, we have started a quarterly magazine by the Cold Chronicle, where we are, inviting people from all the sectors to send their success stories in terms of what they have achieved, what they are doing. They can send it to us, and we will publish it in these magazines. And this goes to all the ministries. This goes to a lot of stakeholders. It's a good medium to kind of propagate your ideas and tell what we are doing in this sector. Next slide. this is the events and the conferences. This is the kind of outreach we have been doing in last 1.5 year. This is, every month, second month, we intend to reach to people to kind of, not only, do the knowledge dissemination in terms of what we are doing in cold chain, but also try to tell them the challenges which are very, very important. That is about, I have already spoken about, which is energy, sustainable development, technology, and we had to all believe into this fact that, we cannot keep on, designing and doing cold chain only with reference to what people have to offer to us. We had to kind of derive and design it, what we intend to do and what we want in the next 10 years as the, era is changing. We are out, the HCFCs are going out by 1st January 2024. Then by 2028, HFCs will also go out. So how do we come to this, how do we acquire this technology where, we are in line with what is going to happen in next 5-8 years? Otherwise, most probably, we'll be lacking behind and there will be a lot of issues in development. Next slide. This is this year what we have been, what we are doing. Next slide. Okay. So this is how, we have been trying to reach to the industry as well as to various stakeholders. My intent is only to, bring latest technology to this sector. Energy is my main concern and focus. I'm a very much focused person in terms of how do we, curtail energy consumption in this sector. And through this medium, I would also like to, address one more thing, which is like, National Center for Cold Chain Development is a national level agency. Fisheries can always come to us and kind of, in case they need to do any kind of studies, they need to do any kind of developmental projects, we are there, we can do these things for the, for all those departments, for all those sectors which are a requirement of the cold chain. So with this, I end my session today, and I'm again very, very thankful to the to National Fishery Development Board who have invited me here. I thank you once again and have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
Ask any questions that you may have with regard to his presentation. Thank you so much for presenting today in terms of especially the sustainability part of cold chain.
Ashish, I'm Atul Patne, I'm Commissioner Secretary Fisheries Maharashtra. Just I wanted to know, do you have any plan on the policy framework or something where NCCD can play a role for convergence of the infrastructure available for agriculture with fisheries, or preparing separate special DPR for setting up cold chain for fisheries sector?
Sir,
One. And second one, you are concerned about the energy saving now from shifting to HFC from CFC, and now hydrogen fuel cell also there, reaper van and other structure, whether there any transformation in this structure like a startup and other things are going on.
Yes. So thank you very much, sir. And sir, this is my 24th year in cold chain. So what I have understood from 1998, being a part of this sector, is that the core what I described is, sir, is refrigeration. So in terms of policy making, when we design or do a policy making, what we are trying to do is we are trying to make it as a uniform, because what we intend to do is there is a lot of overlapping which is happening, which is like, suppose somebody wants to set up a cold storage or a cold chain, there is essentially certain parameters which are basic, and then from that basic components the next building can be designed, and NCCD has the purpose, and we can surely help any department sector wherever it is required in hand holding and doing this kind of
No, Ashish, it's not wherever required. See, I was also Director Agriculture Government of India in 2014, and I was in charge for horticulture as well as your NCCT.
Yes,
Mr. Pavanendra Kohli was here at that time, 8 years back. So I want to know whether there is anything going on at central level that policy framework should be set up to, should be framed for setting up the cold chain for fisheries. Has NCCD taken some initiative, or they are restricted, limited, confined to horticulture only? Okay. If nothing is going on, we can push the demand then.
Sir, right now, as such, we are pushing it, to be honest with you. We are pushing it because our intent is to kind of get it on a uniform platform. So we are trying to push fisheries also, we are trying to push other sectors also, though the mandate is for the horticulture, but we are trying to push it, sir. We are trying to push to get the fisheries onto the board along with the horticulture. But right now, there is not a, from this center side, there is nothing as such, but we are trying to push it from our side, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Commissioner sir. I think Ashish can come out with the plans. Okay, so let us have one interaction or meeting with NFDB, maybe Government of India officials. So, what are your ideas? Like what you have done successfully in other sector, allied sector of so what exactly you want to do in fisheries by understanding today's situation? So,
See,
if you can come out with a plan, then we'll have a separate interaction.
Sir, what I understand is, in horticulture also the cold chain is not done by a cold chain expert. Presumably, it is done by the officers who are at the helm of horticulture. So when we, as an NCC, as an expert agency, who kind of gets what we are doing is right now. For example, there is a project which is coming to a certain agency for the purpose of setting up a cold chain for a 5,000 metric ton. So we are doing all the technical assessment is now being done by NCCD. So we do the technical assessment for all the projects, sir.
Fine. Maybe a panel discussion again, we'll have a discussion.
And in terms of the second question, sir, you talked about HFCs and refrigerants, sir. So we are already into CO2, sir, but the cost of the refrigeration is right now high, but most probably next 2 to 3 years, you will see there will be a lot of shift, and propane is also progressing very rapidly into the smaller cold room. In the larger cold chain, sir, we already ammonia, we're doing a lot of bigger projects with the ammonia, so
it's fine, yeah.
we're taking care of it,
yeah,
sir.
Thank you. We'll take next one. Yeah. Next speaker we have Dr. Ashish? Shane? Huh? No, that will take later. Yeah. First let us listen to. Take Dr. Shane Kumar. Shane Kumar? Yeah, Dr. Shane Kumar, Dr. Ashish, I have a request with you. So both are professionals, we know. So 5 minutes. Okay. So come to the, what exactly you want to convey to the...
Yeah. Just very good morning all. Respected chair and dignitaries and my dear friends here. I'm not taking much time of you. I just want to stress on something about the post-harvest losses, what is happening in the sector. And all you know very well. Next slide, you can go to. The post-harvest loss refers to fish that is either discarded or sold at a relatively low price because of quality deterioration or owing to market dynamics. So this is the main definition which is given by the FAO also. So I have just gone to which are the physical and the quality losses, which type of quality loss are happening in the sector. Some of the good pictures of the FAO documents that FAO is there. We can see that pictures of the post-harvest losses also. Please go to the next slides. Go, next slides. Some pictures which I have taken from the FAO. So this is mainly due to the animal predation causes fish losses. Next slide, you can go to these. Physical losses occur during the transportation. That is through a water or air or land transportation. There is a lot of possibility losses is happening in this area. And you can see the other kind of losses also. Next slide. Next slide. Quality losses. I think if you are catching the fish and delaying lifting the net or hooks, we are late. That is also causing the quality losses. And with the next slide also, you can see some of the pictures of the without proper preservation techniques, we lose a lot of fish. And that is also mainly we should that cold chain, which we are saying the chilling temperature 0 to 4 degrees Celsius, or the minus 20 degrees Celsius for cold storage, or freezing temperature minus 40 degree. These things we need to maintain in proper fashion. That's also an important thing. The next one is, next slide. Next slide. These are some of the other kinds of exposing fish to high temperature cause and quality loss. Next slide. And the quality exposed to high temperature, that's again just some pictures which is attractive. I thought of sharing with you this one. Next slide. And market loss of first losses, because that's the next slide is very visible in that one. You can see that if fish is not able to sold in timely, the price will be coming down immediately. That is also a factor of this one. So the key issues, I think I'm not going to much deep on these slides. I think we are having a very short of time. These are the main issue in this sector. We have to reduce the post-harvest losses to improve food security and secure greater post-harvest benefits and ensure sustainable livelihood. This is the main objective of this FAO or document also. Just next slide, I'm not going to explain. So this is something important. I just want to share the important livestock produce, how much post-harvest loss is happening in the country. So we can see that different values for the egg 7.19 and inland fish 5.23%, marine fish it is 10.52, and meat it is 2.71, poultry meat 6.74, and milk, that is very interesting fact. This is a highly perishable food, 0.92. So we are able to do the cold chain practice in very effectively in milk sector, but compared to the other livestock produce, we were not able to do this. This is based on a study of the ICAR, which is conducted in, I think, 2015. Based on that only, I took this data from this one. So milk is possible, very much possible. The post-harvest losses reduced to 0.9, less than 1%. So in the other livestock also very much possible. And we need to bring the post-harvest losses in this sector considerably by creating adequate infrastructure in land, water, and air also, air transportation facilities also. We need to create such kind of things. But I feel this, I just mentioned, the next is and there are some estimates I have seen, 61,000 crores loss is happening in this sector. That is some kind of rough estimates. I don't know how much authentic is there. And the data which I have said is 5% in inland and 10% in marine sector. I think it is much more because these assessments has been conducted in certain districts or certain regions. That is something skewed data maybe. So we need to conduct a post-harvest loss assessment in a wider perspective, which is covering the entire sector of the fisheries sector in the country. We need to analyze, and based on the each state, we need to fix how much post-harvest loss is happening. According to that, we need to create the adequate infrastructure in land, water, and air. Because in airport also we require adequate infrastructure. We need adequate infrastructure in fishing vessels, and adequate infrastructure is required in harbors. So based on this, we need to have effective planning and strategical policy making also is required in this sector. Next slide. So I just another perspective is the post-harvest losses in other sectors. In the traditional, how much it is happening? 1.14. Motorized it is 3.65, and mechanized fishing, that is less than 7 days. It is 14.1%. Mechanized is more than 7 days. It is 18.73. These are some data which I got from some of the research papers. So, but this is very important. The mechanized fishing sector is not having adequate infrastructure facilities on board. So that is a crucial thing which we need to address. The policy makers need to address in this, because we are having enough fishing vessels, but their onboard handling facilities and storing facilities are very meager. So that is causing a huge, substantial loss in the sector. Next slide. These are the in various sectors how much losses is happening. I think it's very interesting. I think the first picture, animal predation, we have seen. I think if you are going to the Gujarat area also, I think plenty of dry fish is going. I think the major loss is happening in the dry fish sector is 36% loss is happening. This very huge loss is happening in the sector. Next slide. I think I just want to say something on the infrastructure facilities, which is the cold chain facility which is created in the country, because we are having a very strong exports sector in the country, and that is already MPD is correctly documenting the export infrastructure, which is exact figures are we are having. That is the only figure I will say that proudly, sir, we are having a strong figure in this. These are recorded figures. In our registration scenario also it is there. So 625 exporters are, and out of that 423 European Union established units, and total this much. And installed capacity of our plants are having at least now 36,000 metric ton. And the frozen storage is we can have a cold storage capacity of 4,86,000 metric ton. So these is correct figures. We are having exact figures with Marine Product Export Development Authority, and this is a scenario right now. So this is and we can see that how much export we have made with this infrastructure. 17 lakh metric ton we have exported with an export figure of 63,000 crores. I remember the post-harvest losses figure also is almost matching to the this figure. So this, but I feel post-harvest losses figures are much higher than this one if we are estimating state-wise correctly. And we need to have a study on that state-wise study we need to conduct for post-harvest losses in fishery sector for effective planning and strategical infrastructure creation in the sector. Next. So I have just gone for my thought process has gone to that. What is the country's fish production? I have taken, this is almost 121 lakh in inland fish production, so estimated post-harvest losses based on this at the rate of 5.23%, it is coming 6.34, and marine fish production it is coming 41 lakh. This one, and estimated marine loss in that sense is 4.3 lakh. If you are taking total loss in this sector is approximately based on the reference figure which I have taken, it is coming 10 lakh metric ton, which is supposed to be, I think, more than 65,000 crores. We'll go to the next figure, next slide. So based on that, how much infrastructure is required to address these post-harvest losses? That's why I just have this is total loss is 10 lakh metric ton. Out of that, if you are planning for 200 days, fishing days or farming days are there in the country, so the post-harvest losses per day is coming at least 5,000 metric ton. And the number of insulated and refrigerated vehicle requirement to address this post-harvest losses is coming at least 1,780 metric ton. That is, we are calculating 3 metric ton per day per truck can handle that kind of fish. And ice requirement at the rate of 1:1, we are taking 5,000 metric ton ice is required to address this issue. The number of ice plants required for such kind of ice production is 214, and if you are taking a 25 metric ton per day ice plant. So we need to assist this sector in domestic sector and domestic marketing to create such an infrastructure, a state-wise infrastructure we need to create based on this. And if you're thinking of how many freezers we require, if assuming that the 5,000 metric ton post-harvest loss is there, at least 2,500 metric ton, if we are planning for assuming 50% is going for freezing, then we require this many freezers, at least at 5 metric ton freezers per 534 freezers. And so cold storage capacity, I think roughly we need to address this much post-harvest losses. 40,000 metric ton cold storage capacity is required, and number of cold storages. If you're planning for such kind of things, 160 cold storage per 250 metric ton cold storage are required to address this issue. And obviously after storing all this products, we need to market it. So retail outlets also we have to think for with a cold chain facility. For in that case, to address this post-harvest losses, I think 1,335 retail outlets with a capacity to sell 2 metric ton per day. This is these are some assumptions based on the figures I have just extrapolated for what kind of infrastructure is required to address the post-harvest losses in the sector. That's why. Anyway, thank you. And one more thing I thought, because the same thing, I just want to say something about the fishing vessel infrastructure already told, but there is when we are saying that other aspect is harbor infrastructure, it is very important thing. Because when we are planning for a harbor construction and everything, many of the things we are not able to concentrate, which all areas we need to concentrate. So I just thought of some, there is, if you want to run a house, a family in a good way, a good wife is required. So in the fishing sector also we need a wife. That wife is like this: water, ice, fuel and electricity. So the infrastructure for the water, ice and fuel and electricity is very much required for effective handling and management of fishing harbor in a constructive way. So and obviously, we don't have because we are managing airports and other things in an effective way, but we don't have any management system, or professional management is not happening in any kind of harbors in the country. So these things, and because of these lack of these infrastructure facilities of water, ice, fuel and electricity is leading safety issues and unhygienic handling issues in the sector. That's why I just want to add about the harbor infrastructure. But that's why I just keeping for the policy makers to remember always when we are planning for a harbor. At least we need to ensure this water, ice, fuel, electricity infrastructure is there or not. In most of the cases, when harbor construction, I am not at that. Only breakwater is we have considered in harbor construction. But this is very essential. We need to look into this policy perspective. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Dr. Sain. It's very enlightening, and especially the WIFE acronym that you have created for the infrastructure side. May I request any participant, if you have any questions to Dr. Sain? Yeah, otherwise we can take it after that, sure. So can we have Dr. Ashish, please, to talk about the importance of cold chain in post-harvest management?
Can you share, please? By the time it is getting shared, I'll just start. Respected CE, NFDB, other dignitaries, industry partners from across the country. We have Seafood Exporters Association President, India, then Gujarat also. So I am here to talk on importance of cold chain in fisheries post-harvest management. Dr. Sain and we are from same profession, so he has included most of the things, so I think I need not to talk a lot on that. Is it working? This is, everybody knows where we stand, what is the fisheries scenario in the countries. Next, please. Next, please. You can see what is our fish production 21-22, we crossed almost 160 million tons. But the issue is post-harvest losses, it is altogether 25%, and then we want to reduce it to 10%. Next, please. Next, please. And this is cold chain, it's a sort of definition. Cold chain consists of a series of operations. Everybody knows what we want from catch to consumer. Everywhere we require cold chain, and that is what I do not want to pack it into a word-to-word definition. Next, please. This is what Dr. Sain has already told, the kind of losses we are having, post-harvest losses. You can see from fishing, then onboard handling, time of unloading, fresh marketing, processing, storage, delay. Everywhere there is a chance of loss, post-harvest loss, and everywhere we require a sort of cold chain. Next, please. The major concerns and challenges. What we have most important is mostly 75% of our catch we are selling as fresh. So whatever left, exporters, when we take of exports and all, there we are managing cold chain effectively, and that's how we are able to successfully export the commodity from here to entire world. But you'll say, you just see, the major concern, we are selling 75% of fish catch as fresh. That is one of the challenge. And altogether, if you'll see our annual post-harvest loss, it is estimated almost 61,000 crore, as Dr. Sain already told, which is higher than our export earning. So there is a huge opportunity and potential to reduce this. And if you'll see sector-wise, we are 46,000 crore we are losing from inland side, and 15,000 crore from marine sector. This is the amount of loss, and insufficiency in the cold chain is cited as the reason for all these things. That is why we require cold chain at all the stages. Next, please. Again, what is the importance? There are different kinds of degradation and quality loss. You can see action of enzyme, autolytic, then bacterial oxidation, all these things. The crux of this slide is, if you increase the temperature from 0 to 5 degree, in fish, the spoilage will double. This is in general. So just 5 degrees centigrade temperature will double the wastage, double the spoilage of the fish. Next, please. This is again where we require cold chain, right from the catch to the consumer everywhere. We require cold chain because fish is very perishable commodity having high quantity of moisture and other nutrients. That's why we require all these things. Next, please. This is a major concern for us. When fisheries was growing, we saw there is a vertical growth in production, but somehow we lag behind in managing that. We could not, that time we could not give a thought that along with production, parallelly we should have built infrastructure which could sustain this kind of production. But somehow time has gone and we have started acting on that. Next, please. Next. So what happened is, we have regulation in place. What is the temperature for chilling, freezing, then storing everything like -18, 0, less than 5, everything is in place. So scientific data, research component is already available. So many research organizations are working on different kinds of fishes, but unfortunately, infrastructure side or policy making, I'll not tell it failed, but somehow policy makers could not do as much as researcher has done, because we have all data available with us, what is required for safeguard the post-harvest loss. Next, please. This is what I wanted to show. If you see the entire country, scenario of country, we have almost 7,129 registered cold storage, almost. And 60% of these cold storage are concentrated in only 5 states. That is UP, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat. And we have inland culture throughout the country. And 60% of these cold storage are concentrated in only 5 states. One was Punjab also. And you will astonish to know that the available cold storage capacity, 75% goes for only one commodity, that is potato. We are dedicating 75% of the available cold storage for potato. And unfortunately, we are sparing only 1% for fisheries. That is where we need to intervene. And that is where policymakers needs to think. And these are the states where we are having all this. And registered or active transportation, cold transportation chain, we have only 10,000. And of course, it is mainly for fruits, vegetables, and very less quantity for fish. So these area, I think NFDB is working a lot. They are giving subsidy and all for refrigerated van cold storage. Next, please. Next, please. These are the things we need to do. Now, what I have told was a bad taste. It was giving bad taste that we could not achieve what we could have done if started right time. But what has happened is, in recent past, if you'll see, ministry, other government organization, research organization, all are working with an aim that will have to safeguard the post-harvest loss. And NFDB is doing commendable job. And they have laid down, I think, 1,400 crore to create infrastructure in developing cold chain, harbor and all. These are their mandate. Cold chain and infrastructure development action they have initiated. We have post-harvest and cold chain infrastructure, construction of cold storage ice plants they are looking into, modernization of cold storage, then refrigerated vehicle, insulated vehicle, live fish vending, motorcycle and cycle also. So you can see from the top to bottom, we are starting with a flight where exporters are doing, and to the cycle, there is a reach of NFDB and ministry. And they are working together with research organizations also. So we must congratulate NFDB for their initiative in recent past. Next, please. These are the again area which they are taking care under Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, PMMSY, storage, logistic, value addition, packaging, construction of fish retail, kiosk, value addition. Next, please. This is what we are doing. As a research organization, we have one component research. Now we are doing extension also. We are creating awareness through our training and vending, means giving inputs which will create awareness about the importance of cold chain. You can see we are giving training for hygienic handling, then insulated boxes we are giving. When last time Secretary Fisheries came, we have distributed fish vending kiosk also, just in order to create the awareness. And of course, in all these things, ministry is the partner, NFDB is the partner. Next, please. Again, same thing. We are one side, we are doing the research on the quality of ice required and all, and then we are giving fish vending kiosk to keep hygienic handling of the fish and all. This is from our side, where our, next please. Yes, same thing, next. And this is again, we are going to villages. This is some hinterland deep inside village in Ukai district where we have conducted program on hygienic handling training we had given, and then some insulated boxes. These are very small things, but just to create awareness. And I understand ministry is taking note of all these things. NFDB is also reaching through us and through their own chains to the deep inside the villages. And this is what we have done is, we have trying to create a modular cold storage. We have given to one of our stakeholders near Dari village, and we tried to create a cold storage of some 3 tons, and it is cheap. They have made a profit out of this also, and so next year also we are giving some higher capacity cold storage to them. So what we are doing within our capacity, we do not have fund for all these things, but from somewhere when we get some sorts of funding agent coming to us for help, we also complete the cold chain. Next, please. This is what another organization who is working on developing cold chain is Ministry of Food Processing and Industry, MOFPI. You'll see there is a fish mark, and MOFPI has reached to create cold storage chain in northeastern region, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, but still it has to reach up to Gujarat and other states also. So I think if someone is from MOFPI, or someone can convey, they should tell that Gujarat is also one of the important region where cold chain is required, and they can extend their program to that coast also. Next, please. This is what again, this is from NFDB slides. Integrated cold storage can come retail chain. They have thought when they are thinking of supporting aqua farmers. So that is in what you call helm of affairs nowadays. And moreover, I'll tell, we have so many industry partners here. We have partner from NCDC. I think NCDC is also, we have done program. They are making program for custom hiring, and there we have suggested that when you are looking for custom hiring kind of solution, you should first go for cold chain development, and we are again partnering with NCDC. That's all. Thanks a lot. I think this is my last slide. Next, please. Next slide. It's not there. Okay, then you might have taken another one. Thanks slide. Doesn't matter. Last will be thanks only. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank NFDB for their extremely good work, and for this program also, where I know this will not change the things, but it will sensitize. So thanks a lot from my side. If there is any question, I'll be happy to. Please.
Any questions? Otherwise, we can. Okay. Dr. Christina, yeah. While we invite the panelists, can we also have one of the speakers who is not here present but has sent recorded messages, Dr. Christina, in terms of her experiences in Norway and how the cold chain could work in Indian context. So if you could run that quickly. In the meantime, may I invite this panelist here, Mr. Karthikeyan, Director, MPDA, Kochi. Mr. Rajesh Kumar, Rajesh K, Chief Quality and Sustainability Officer, Lucius. Mr. Kerry Thomas, Managing Partner. Oh, sure. May I also invite the session chair, Mr. Narasimha Murthy, to join on the. Mr. Kerry Thomas, Managing Partner, Ginny Marine, and Mr. Gyanendra S. from Product Development Manager, if you are around. Mr. Gyanendra.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me to speak. I am a senior research scientist at SINTEF Ocean in Norway. SINTEF is a research institute where we at SINTEF Ocean have worked with the fish industry for a long time. I work in the field of refrigeration, where we aim for high energy efficiency, low emissions, circularity, and good food quality. We have worked with Indian institutes and universities for many years now, especially within the fish and seafood sector. Our collective goal has been to have sustainable utilization of food resources, and that includes innovative solutions which will lead to value creation, also beyond the central topic. We talk about cold chain, where we mean a food value chain where cooling and or freezing is present. That can be from production unto consumers, or in other words, from farm to fork. We know that it is still necessary to improve the food cold chain because we could then preserve the food better and reduce food loss and waste. A very important part of this cold chain is utilizing natural refrigerants, which I will talk about in my presentation today. In 2021, we started a new collaboration project called Future Refrigeration India, INDICRUS. This is funded by the Norwegian Ministry of Foreign Affairs through the Norwegian Embassy in New Delhi and coordinated by the Norwegian University of Science and Technology. The logos here show the partners of the project. The project continues until next year. Here we can see the participants of the project. We have people from India, Norway, and France, including professors. We support vendors with technical assistance, design, installation, commissioning, etc. And they and the end users, in turn, make the process data accessible and the demo sites available for training. We also exchange knowledge and work together on the challenges and the solutions. Results, specifications, and data are shared and disseminated to a wider audience, both nationally and internationally. This table shows the view. CO2 systems are always operating with positive pressure. They can also operate close to -50 degrees. The CO2 is in the food processing area, so no ammonia is present there. For deep freezing applications at -40 degrees, cascade systems show higher COP compared to other refrigeration systems, which you can see here in the graph. The COP is shown for different temperatures. And the blue line shows the cascade system. You also see that cascade systems show superior performance when compared with R404A annually for all the important seafood cities in India. This shows a piping diagram of the first demo unit, which is at Bell Foods in Kochi, Kerala. It has a capacity of 150 kilowatts. Here on the top is the ammonia system. Having the ammonia system ensures high efficiency of the system and no risk of food contamination if there would be a leak. Low temperatures means that we can freeze more products in shorter time. So this represents a clean cooling system without synthetic refrigerants, which is necessary to achieve the UN Sustainable Development Goals. This shows a piping diagram of the second demo unit, which is at NAS Fisheries in Kochi. The vendor is CFTech, the same as for the previous demo site. This system has a capacity of 350 kilowatts, and as you can see in the next slide, here are some photos of the system. We have ammonia compressors on the left and CO2 compressors on the right. This is implemented and commissioning is ongoing. INDIPLA's educational units are separate from the demo units. They are CO2 heat pump refrigeration systems being implemented by partner institutes at laboratories of their institutes for training purpose. 3 basic CO2 refrigeration heat pump units were already shipped from Norway to India to these institutes. We have one in IIC Bangalore, one in BITS Pilani, and one in CIFT Kochi.
Again, good morning to all. I think now the hall is almost full. So we have a few very distinguished guests again. Our President Jagdish Bhai is here. Many other distinguished guests are here. That's good that, so we got some good experts here so that we can have fruitful discussion. So now it's a panel discussion. We have Dr. M. Karthikeyan, Director MPDA. We have Mr. Rajesh, Chief Quality and Sustainable Officer, Lycius. Then we have Mr. Kenny Thomas, Managing Partner, Jenny Marine Traders, Gujarat. Then we have Mr. Gnanendra, Product Development Manager, Devi Newty International, Hyderabad, Telangana. Okay. So as initially when I gave my opening remarks, so this session, this topic is very, very important for us, the importance of cold chain in fisheries and post-harvest management. I think few things I already highlighted. I'm not repeating that, but Government of India has taken a lot of initiatives on this. So now artificial reef, that's one thing. Since last 1 decade, I think our marine catch is not up to the mark. So we are almost reached a MSY. Whatever is there in the sea, we harvested. So little more is left out. So juvenile fish maintenance is one thing. In addition to that, they give some breeding ground for the fishes. For that, government has taken very seriously and close to 1,000 crores with the state governments. We are working on that to establish artificial reefs. Sea ranching again, followed by artificial reef. Sea ranching also we are planning. Whatever the measurements government can take with our guidelines, so we are planning that. So definitely we need to have a support from all the stakeholders who are all depending on the sea and any water system to make it a sustainable fisheries in India. So with this, I request Dr. M. Karthikeyan. So just to have his ideas is from the promotion body, Marine Products Development Authority. So yes, there are a lot of targets, a lot of issues. So if we can just brief what are the present MPDA initiatives and regarding what are the issues related to trade and internationally, all these things, so that our people will understand, so it's like a one-to-one interaction. Well, let us start with Dr. Karthikeyan.
Very good morning to all. I appreciate the Department of Fisheries and the NFDB for arranging such a wonderful conference and arrange for the technical session. I also appreciate the speakers who have given a wonderful presentation on the post-harvest losses on the sector. And having representing the Export Development Authority and all my friends from the exporters side are here. So basically the export-oriented products needs quality. For the quality to be addressed, we need to have a proper cold chain facilities across the production chain. So if you talk about the marine sector, as our friend was pointing out, like in the marine sector, the catches are stagnating. Maybe till 90s we are having an enhancement in catch, but later on, for the last 30 years, there is a stagnation of catches. We are producing almost like 35 lakh metric tons. And on average, now we are exporting around 7 lakh metric tons. That around 20% of the sea catch goes for exports. But when we see the sea catch, it's not that loss which is happening previously like what was happening in the sector. It doesn't go for the human consumption. As per the estimated loss, as per the FAO, it is around 30% overall in the world. In the fisheries sector, it is not going for the human consumption. And in the case of Indian scenario, though Shine was saying around 10.5%, but as per our PMMSA report, that was saying around 20 to 25% post-harvest losses. That means it is not directly going for human consumption. But when you talk about the material which is available for human consumption, again, the quality that matters either for the local consumers or for the exporting, the person who are buying from us in the importing nations. So when you give a better quality, the consumers are happy and they give better price. So that's where like Impeda has taken an initiative like in the marine sector. When you talk about the value chain, the fishing boats has to have the cold chain facilities. We are aware that all the fishermen now with the exposure for the last 30-40 years in the export sector as well as the production related quality. So they have come out with the fish holes, they carry ice, they ice the fishes and bring. But again, like when they get 10 tons of material, and if it is from the trawler, if it is like 2 tons is worth for exports, they will preserve that material with ice, segregate, wash and preserve it in the ice and bring. But rather the other material which is coming for the local domestic consumption or for any other consumption comes without much of ice. So the cold chain facilities in the fishing boats matters a lot because as soon as you catch the material, you need to preserve it and then bring it to the shore. And in the shore, as our friend Satyan is here, so he is aware like Impeda what initiative has taken is like in the shore, in the fishing harbor, we need to have the facilities in place. As Shine was pointing out, like we need to have water, ice, fuel, and electricity. The water and ice are the most important thing in the harbor. So Impeda has taken an initiative of modernization of the Cochin Fisheries Harbor. We have prepared the DPR with the support of E&Y, and that has been now taken up through Department of Fisheries funding and Sagamala. And likewise, another 5 harbors are getting developed. So there are a lot of harbor development which has happened for the last 10 years after the tsunami in most of the coastal states. But those harbors which have been built doesn't have the basic infrastructure of ice and water. So that needs to be addressed. That has been taken up through this project. And now I think having that model in all the harbors will help in addressing the quality. So by addressing the quality, we'll get better unit value for the product. Like in Sri Lanka, the tuna which is being caught with a proper tuna boat comes out with a good quality at the landing center. It is properly handled and get exported at around $12 per kg. The same material, when it is being landed from the Indian boat, it is getting only around $2 to $3 per kg. So by addressing the quality across the value chain, we will be able to get better unit value. That is on the marine sector. In the aquaculture sector, talking about only the export-oriented production and the export, what is happening, shrimp is the major backbone. If you talk about shrimp, we have come up to almost like 1.2 million metric tons of production. But we are not able to give the same quality what Ecuador is giving in terms of the whole shrimp what Ecuador is doing. Because when it is produced, we produce the best quality shrimp. The quality of shrimp which is being produced in India is the best quality at the farm. But when it is getting harvested and handled and taken to the processing plant, it takes some time. The icing, the time taken in going to the processing plant and getting processed, it takes time. So the quality is lost during that time. So whereas in Ecuador, I think it's all like big, the farms. So we have an average holding of 2 hectares in the farm sector, but whereas in case of Ecuador, they have more than 200 hectares average holding size. So they're able to harvest whole in the live farm, directly get into the processing plant and process and send. So that's where like they're able to dominate the whole shrimp export to China and all. So by addressing this particular aspect, we will also be able to enhance our exports in terms of shrimp, the whole shrimp export, and we will get better unit value also. So this is what I would like to say as part of the export promotion related to quality. So if any other questions are there, I will be able to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Karthik. Anyway, it will be available for the whole thing. Let us listen to all our experts and panel members. So then, one by one, sector-wise, we can have a discussion. Mr. Rajesh?
Good morning, all. First of all, let me thank for giving me this opportunity to represent the industry. We are Licious. We are no more startup today. We have been in the existence for the last 8 years. We became the first unicorn in D2C. And I would say to narrate Licious as the most loved meat and seafood brand in India. I'm very cautious in using the term brand because that is what lacking, I think, especially in the meat ecosystem and seafood ecosystem in India. And we are today in the land of Amul, which is known for the branding in India, which is, I think, the most, if you use the word brand, Amul is synonym for that. And Licious wanted to create such a brand in the seafood ecosystem for India. Today, we got astonished with some fact and numbers, like we used to say. We got to know that now the potato is wherein the 75% of our cold store facilities are being used. Then I was just Googling around what is the per capita consumption of potato in India. It is nearly 20 kg. And we know that the fish per capita consumption is around 5 to 6 kg. What is the world per capita consumption of fish and seafood is almost 20 plus. And potato is also 22. So the per capita consumption of potato is very close to the global scenario in India. So what is the learning out of this? The learning out of this is the demand creation. Another interesting number what we hear today is about the export value, and the food loss value is almost close to that. So it is getting lost in domestic, right? And in the recent past, or maybe knowing very well like that, the China became the biggest importer for shrimp and other seafood for India. It was not the scenario maybe 5 years back or 10 years back. And from here, reprocessing and import, the consumption also got increased in China. And India is going to witness that in near future. But what we are doing for that? Are we ready to cater quality, safe food, especially in this highly perishable ecosystem, to Indian consumers? And I can firmly say that Licious became a unicorn within a 5 to 6 years of its operation in a D2C sector. Then there is demand. In India also, consumers are ready to pay extra. So we also used to talk about, there are some common terminologies in all the conclave conferences, like value addition. So what is value addition? According to Toyota, value addition is something where consumers are ready to pay extra. So all those technologies that we are developing or innovating is not really the value addition. Value addition becomes reality when somebody is ready to pay extra for that. So we have to innovate certain things, even if it is in cold chain, wherein the consumer will pay extra. So I will take few points into that. See, Licious created a category where is fresh and chilled meat and seafood, which is not known for Indians. India is either fresh is warm meat or frozen. And there is a strong hesitation in Indian consumer mind for the frozen stuffs when it comes to meat or when it comes to seafood. The coastal people even don't like putting ice into that. So how we will, so the cold chain improvement or cold chain innovation in India should address these consumer sentiments as well. And we are doing in that way. We created this category, and in our total revenue of around 100 crore per month today, 15-20% is coming out of fish and seafood. Rest 50% salient is from chicken, and rest is the lamb and goat. So seafood is getting a high value creation for us, even if the volume is low. If the value wise, it will be maybe 20-25%. If it is volume wise, 15-20%. So a strong need of innovation in the cold chain is there for fisheries sector for the domestic market, because all the statistics, all the data are around export. So to equally create the same value, and to even other mottos or motives of the government of India is also to doubling the income of farmers and fishermen. We need to create strong domestic market. And from the industry side, I can firmly say it like that, Dishes is the flag bearer for that, and we are leading that. And even after the 8 years of existence, I would say 95% sector is unorganized. And only 5% is organized, and Dishes may be representing 4% out of that. And more Dishes need to be in Indian ecosystem to take it forward. And few things I would like to mention about what are the requirements or what are the challenges that we are facing today is, as you know, we are a D2C brand. We play in e-commerce sector, meaning our deliveries are to the consumer doorstep. So the cold chain is not there for the last mile. So first mile and last mile are the two legs where cold chain is not there. Middle mile, it is there. We have cold storages, we have processing facilities built in with appropriate room temperature. There are IoT-based data loggers. We do all these out. But where in our first leg, if we need to take sardine and mackerel from Malpe or from Kochi to Bangalore or to the Delhi, our processing unit, there are no innovative technology. There is a lot of transit loss. But once it reaches our processing facility, we do have cold storage. Same is the case, we can store it in our 0 to 4 degree across our cold chain, value chain. But when we are taking it out in a bike delivery mode, still there is no an active cooling system to keep the temperature. What I mean to say about active cooling is, obviously to maintain the other unit economics, we need to have some 25 kg to be in a bike delivery in one trip. Not in one trip, maybe in a 5 to 6 trip a delivery boy can do. Then he need to hold a delivery bag. He cannot take more than 25 kg weight. So we are using the passive cooling with gel pad inbuilt. By providing a passive cooling in a delivery box, you will not get real-time data monitoring because it is just maintaining the product temperature by conduction of keeping 5 liter or 4 liter of gel ice pad over and above that. It will not give the product temperature or as like you are getting a room temperature through an IoT-based data logger, which we have, all our things. But last mile, it is not there. I have worked with 2-3 Japanese companies for developing an active cooling system for the last 2 years, and it is still not successful. So we will say there are active cooling box we are using for vaccines, etc. But when it comes to the practicality, wherein it will meet your unit economics, then there is no such innovations. So my humble request is, we need to completely change the mode of presentations in our conclave and conferences on just showcasing the data of India is number 3, number 2. We do have that when live store, we hear this thing. Let us talk about like that, what Karthikeyan sir did, what we did, what we are going to do. I think that is my submission to all these comments in the first step, and I'm open to any other questions in later. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh. So question answer will take once other two speakers also complete. So next speaker we have none other than Mr. Kenny Thomas. I think they are the first started the export company in Veraval. Yeah. So because I worked there in Veraval few years back, so I have seen their dedication in the seafood industry. Now we are close to more than 120 plants we have in and around Gujarat. So their diversification of the products and they're actually pioneers. So he's having, I think, 3 to 4 decades experience in this field when it comes to export. Any country development will be measured in the form of export. So I'm very grateful. I'm honored to have all the pioneers, Pitamahas of seafood industry here in this August gathering. They contributed so much for the national development, national GDP. So I'm always high regards for all of you. With this, I request Mr. Kenny Thomas for his whatever the experience is having. I mean, he had the last 3-4 decades, and what are the issues at present where government intervention is required. So how to take this? How to reach our 1 lakh crores? That is the target Honorable Prime Minister has given for us. So let us listen to Mr. Kenny Thomas.
Thank you, Dr. Murthy. As a fish processor and exporter with over 3 decades of experience, I can tell you that the cold chain is the heart of our business. I mean, it's the most important organ in our business, and I would attribute more than 70% of the product's quality to the proper cold chain, you know, right from harvesting until distribution, you know, and it's probably the most important investment that we can make, and we need to be very diligent on how we are putting our money into this, and you know, as I said, it's the most important investment you can make. And any compromise you do with regards to this cold chain is definitely going to come back and bite you, because I have experienced this over these more than 3.5 decades that I have been in the business. And in our case, there are 4 stages of maintaining the cold chain. One is when we receive the raw material. It is basically icing it till we freeze it, you know, in all the processing stage. And very often I've seen in the industry that people do compromise on the quantity of ice as well as the quality of ice that goes into preserving the fish. So it's basically, even if you have poor quality ice which is not, you know, made properly or microbiologically compromised, also affects the end product, you know, because there are certain group of bacteria that causes deterioration in the product, even in the presence of a cold chain. The second stage is freezing. And here also, we have 3 processing units, and as a matter of policy, we change our freezing machines every 5 to 6 years, while the general industry standard is 10, 12 years, 14 years. So with, you know, we look out for new technologies, better machines, we scout around for better technologies, and it has always paid us. I can give you an illustration, you know, a commercial illustration. We were doing a particular product for a supermarket, and the supermarket requirement was 1 million units of 500 grams. And when we went in for a better refrigeration machine and a better equipment, we were able to halve our freezing times. And as a result, we saved approximately 30 grams per unit. And with 1 million unit, we saved 30 tons of fish, you know, in terms of the excess weight to control the drip loss. And that translated almost into $270,000. And so for us, the machine that we upgraded was free in less than, so the payback period was less than 1.5 years' time. So similarly, in storage also, we see that many of us compromise on the quality of the panels. We go with, you know, the panel rates are usually, you know, in some cases, the good panels cost double the price of the ordinary panels. And there also you can see that by compromising on the quality of the panels, the temperature inside your cold storages fluctuate too much. You spend too much on energy. So also we must pay attention, and I think MPEDA gives out subsidies to the industry for several years to upgrade their cold storage and build large cold storage. But I would request that MPEDA also consider the quality of the panels that they put into the cold storage, because, you know, if you put regular panels in the cold storage, I mean, it doesn't serve any purpose, it just adds capacity, but you need a certain quality of panels with a certain specification that I think you must insist on. The other aspect after that is transportation. Transportation, mainly in our case, it is, we have raw material that comes from the harbors to the factory, you know, which needs refrigeration and icing, but as important is transport of frozen products from the factory to the harbor, to the shipping ports. And very often what happens is that I've observed that many of our colleagues don't use gensets in the trailers. And as a result of which, you know, a container which undertakes a journey of 10 hours to reach port, very often my colleagues cite that, look, you know, there's no obvious change in the fish, you can find that it is hard frozen, it is still hard frozen. But I can tell you from experience that any compromise, even couple of degrees, compromise in the temperature of frozen food has an effect on this intrinsic taste and texture over a period of time. You may not notice this immediately because if the fish is consumed within a short period of time, you won't notice the difference. But if a fish takes a long time for consumption and within its shelf life, which is 2 years, you will notice that if you are a discerning customer, you will notice that there is a change in the taste and texture of the fish. So it is very important, as I mentioned, that from receiving of the raw material to freezing to storage to transport and distribution, it is very important to maintain this cold chain. I think this is my submission, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Kenny Thomas. Yeah. So we have Mr. Gnanendra.
Yeah. So good morning also. I'm very thankful to give me opportunity to speak here. Actually, I'm completely technical person. Basically, I'm poor at economics and financial matters in this. So just I speak only technical regarding what will happen if you not maintain the cold chain, what will happen to the product, then only I can speak. All the people already, industrial people already speak about economics and everything. So actually, so what is cold chain? Cold chain. So cold chain contains harvesting from harvest to the sale point. So pre-processing, storage, processing, pre-processing, and finally sale point. So during this time, it will have so many things will happen if you compromise in cold chain. So cold chain affects several things. First is how does food deteriorate if cold chain compromise. So the first microbial microbes are activated. Basically, every animal contains their own inside their microbes. Microbes are 3 types, as Mr. Thomas said. So even though cold, preserve the prawns in cold, after 1 or 2 years, the taste of the meat is deteriorating and it getting stale. Because microbes are 3 types. One is the thermophiles, mesophiles, and psychrophiles. Thermophiles, those bacteria grow at high temperatures, about 50 to 100 degrees centigrade. Some bacteria will grow in lesser degrees of temperature also, even minus degrees centigrade also. So that is the reason. For example, take some Clostridium botulinum. It can grow in above 50 degrees centigrade. Some bacteria grow in within minus 80 degrees centigrade also. Those are sometimes if you compromise somewhere during the chain transportation, if some point if you compromise the cold chain, compromise in maintaining the cold, that time some bacteria will grow that will affect the final product. This is the thing. Another one is if you compromise the temperature, every animal contains their own enzymes. Those enzymes start act on their fatty acids, especially fatty acids. As a chemistry, we can say triglycerides. These triglycerides contain 3 fatty acids. One is the glycerol. If temperature is high, the breakdown of the triglycerides is started. Automatically, those triglycerides will act with oxygen in the air, and that will releases peroxide. Those peroxides are deteriorate the meat quantity and finally deteriorate the quality of the meat. And another one is the oxidation. Another one is the oxidation I told as this is the triglycerides and everything. So these are the things only I can speak, very little only. Technical only. Basically, I'm the animal health product development manager. So little bit knowledge I have on the microbiology and everything, sir. So don't mind, sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. That.
Thank you, Mr. Gnanander. Yeah, one second. For the information, we have Honorable Minister from Tripura for Fisheries. So he just entered. Thank you. Yeah. Then we have Dean Fisheries College, Tripura. Few things about Tripura. Among per capita consumption, so in whole India, so Tripura tops first. So it was 29, now it's around 24 according to latest information, per capita consumption per person per year. Thank you very much, sir, for all the initiatives. Even productivity-wise, among northeastern states, Tripura tops when it comes to hectare and all those things. So I'm sure we have huge potential in Tripura. So we received a good action plan this year. So few more things, so we need to discuss with you anyway. So let us have a panel discussion, maybe another 10 minutes we have to round up the thing. Yeah. So any particular queries are there for any, particular or panelists? So they're all different organizations, different field. So go ahead, yeah.
Very good discussion, lot of insight. What I would only, it's not a question, but this is generally, I'm only trying to, tell what we do in horticulture. There are 2-3 things. One is, what we have done is, we have earmarked in terms of capacity, in terms of production, what is happening around the India. And accordingly, we kind of define and devise the type of cold storages we require. That is like, we have northern India, we have apple, then we have bananas in the southern and the western part. And accordingly, the policy, is there any kind of a policy for the marine product also, like, we have good quality, say, on the western side of India, maybe we have good quality of tuna, and specifically require any kind of protocols for that kind of fish? Is that developed by any board or by any agency for the purpose of fisheries? Because in horticulture, whatever products we are dealing now, the protocols are defined. Like, for example, 1 degree, 2 degree, 8 degree, depending upon the size and the place of that, where it is grown. That is one question. Second question for you, sir. It's not a question, it's normally, when this cold chain policy was defined by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, it started in 2004. So at that point of time, the potato is grown in 3 major states, UP, Punjab and West Bengal. And the protocols were defined as per the potato, because it was the largest grown vegetable in terms of when we talk of storage patterns. But I'll tell you one thing, sir. Right now in Kashmir, we have approximately 3.5 lakh ton storage for only apples. We are the largest hub in the South Asia for the apples right now. And secondly, potatoes also, because normally it is seen as potatoes, but one, it is changed. There are a lot of multi-products which go into it. And but you will see it as a potato. That is one part. But secondly, tell me one thing. Do you use same kind of cold storages for all the fish products, or you need to kind of, sensitize or change the kind of overall pattern in the cold chain if you change the product to product? Does it happen, sir, that way?
There you go. Yeah.
It's a relevant question. So I think Java was also pointing out the cold storage which is available in the hinterland states, and maybe UP and all are having cold storages, which is mostly used for potato. But we should understand the basic difference between a vegetable product and a seafood product or a meat product. So when it comes to the vegetable product, you can take the product, do whatever the procedure of cleaning or doing, and then you can just put into the refrigerator storage of maybe 3 degree or 0 degree or whatever the temperature the product is intended to be kept. But in case of the seafood products or the meat products, you can't just store it into a cold storage. Okay, we have got experiences of refrigeration unit being built in a harbor and all, and not being used for a single day also. So when it comes to the fish product, basically it needs to be chilled immediately, wherein the ice comes into play. So that's where we talk about the ice to be taken by the fishing boats. Immediately after the material is caught, needs to be washed thoroughly and then kept in ice, brought into the harbor. Again in the harbor, it needs to be again re-iced, properly handled, taken to the processing plant, where it is frozen at minus 40 degrees centigrade, and then it has to be stored at minus 18 to minus 21 degrees centigrade. So the fish and fishery product needs to be done that way, then only you can be storing it for a longer time, but it remains for almost like 18 months without any problem if it is properly maintained, as Kenny Thomas was pointing out. If you are able to properly handle the material, properly freeze the material and properly store the material, it remains for almost like 2 years without any problem. But the basic difference has to be understood when we make the policies, because you can't just construct a cold storage and just store any material as we like. So that's where, like, for the material which is getting exported, we have an export of almost 17 lakh ton, which is happening in India during last year, which has happened. And we have a cold storage capacity of 4 lakh tons with all the processing plant owners and also some independent cold storages. This supports the requirements for the exports. But in case of the domestic marketing, again, you can't just store it in a cold storage without freezing. If you just keep it in a cold storage without freezing, the quality is lost, because the time taken for the material to reach the core temperature of -18, if you're putting just directly into a cold storage of -18, it will take at least 4 to 5 days. By the time the meat would have got lost the quality. Okay, so that's where the freezing comes into play. So we need to build adequate freezing capacity if at all, if there is a frozen product demand within the internal market, or the company like Lycetius, which is going to promote the frozen or fresh material into the inland market or internal market, domestic market. Some of our companies, like we have Taraganji, who is doing now the frozen material into the local market. So they freeze the material, properly store in the cold storages, and then again they have a chain of facilities in the supermarket as well. It is stored at -18 and being sold. That's where the quality is being made. So I'll just hand over to.
So adding to Sir, see, the chilling or freezing will help you in preventing the spoilage. But to create demand, it is not just prevention of the spoilage, but we need to keep your nutritive value and the flavor or aroma or what is the other quality attributes also intact. In that perspective, chilling or freezing of a potato or fish and seafood is quite different. We need to have different things. And just having a cold chill alone will not help you. You need to have appropriate other steps also involved, because synergy of many things will finally ensure the quality. I can quote a few things about, since you are asking about the marine fish, how it can be. So we know that in our neighboring country, Maldives is famous for the sashimi quality tuna. I've been there for some time. So it is not just, see, each and every fishing vessel is equipped with enormous space for storage of ice there. Unlike our fishing vessels, wherein people are refused to use ice, they are using ice more than the quantity of ice when a fishing vessel is moving to. Again, the harvesting method, they are only Poland line. So Poland line is the catching method, and then the ice storage capacity of each fishing vessel is designed in such a way that it will keep equal amount of ice into that. And there is another process also involved. They will bleed the fish immediately after catching. They will stun the fish immediately after catching. And they will remove the gut and will stuff the ice into that. So it is to maintain the temperature in an appropriate level may not help you to get the right quality of the fish. You need to have the other process also involved. The post-harvest handling is also equally important into that.
Yeah, so another 5 minutes I had to wind up this session. The next session is actually the eating. Yeah.
Paucity of time because we have to handle the next session. Now, I wanted to just comment on an observation made by Dr. Karthikeyan as the director of IMPEDA. And I think it's not correct, particularly when a senior officer like him says this, that the handling of shrimps, of aquaculture shrimps, Ecuador is better than India. And as a result, they are able to market better. It's not correct at all, because the handling of shrimps, aquaculture shrimps, at all stages, right from the point at the farm to the point of export, temperature control is a very important factor, as Kenny was mentioning. It's not only for coastal product, for aquaculture product. It is taken care of at every level. Yes, Ecuador is exporting head-on shrimp to China. We are also exporting head-on shrimp, but we are doing more value-added product to US and other countries. So to say that our handling of shrimps is behind Ecuador is not correct. I just wanted to make that point, and it's a very significant point. This, I particularly speaking in an international forum, I think that's not correct to mention that. Thank you.
I don't know what to argue here. Anyway, this are all the points which has come from the exporters when we are discussing during our meetings. I emphasize that the quality of the shrimp which we produce is much better than any other country. and the quality of the shrimp which is coming out of India is obviously better, and we do the best quality export. I just talked about the head-on shrimp export, where Ecuador practices a direct harvesting from the farm into the processing plant, and it is being exported head-on, and they get a better market access in China. And we, because there is a gap in the material getting into the processing plant, the quality which China is looking for is not being done by our exporters. That's where we are not able to meet the same quantity of what Ecuador is being doing. That's all. It is not that I'm downgrading the quality of our material or downgrading the aspect of the processing or the quality maintenance in our sector. Okay. So this is what the observations I had made. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah. We got this. We got points. Yes.
I honestly request all the esteemed experts to just answer the question in abridgment. One is, what is our envisage towards implementing all these courses through public-private partnership model for the rapid growth and the pertinent key performance indicator? Secondly, what is the scope of invigorating the general liability insurance to ensuring the operation and maintenance of this whole cold chain? And thirdly, if we have any kind of envision to robust this cold chain integrated facilities for inland fisheries, especially for the remote and rural areas, because that is there is a paucity. I will honestly request to answer this for guidance regarding, please. Thank you.
Of course, insurance part, something is new. That as far as your establishment of cold storage in the inland area and all other, wherever where we have the potential, that one, government of India has taken a lot of initiative in that area. So through of course, all our schemes are implemented through state government. So most of our fisheries infrastructure development fund, we subjected, we made very clear. So basic infrastructure should be cold chain, because somewhere we are happy with our production, brackish water or aquaculture production, as well as inland, as well as whatever the marine we have taken initiative. So when it comes to utilization, the moment they harvest the perishable product, we need to maintain that prime quality. So that we are working with even private partner internship also there, then with government also. This time, so recently we had a finance committee meeting with finance secretary. So he is particularly mentioned that, so maximum this time we will promote private entrepreneurship, PPP mode, rather than government. Of course, government is there always to make it feasible for all the stakeholders of that particular government. But this time we are giving more importance for the private entrepreneurs also. It's started, so anytime that advertisement may come, we can discuss in detail also. Yeah, thank you. Any other questions? Yeah, quick, yeah. The mic thoda aage rakhiye. Yeah. Keep it close to you.
Hello. So my name is Pankaj Maul. I work in 3 states, Gujarat, Bihar, and Telangana, with fishery cooperatives. I want to ask what kind of support we can receive. Currently, we have reached approx 1,600 odd farmers in last 3 years. Other than the scheme which is covered under PMFSY or CBBOs, we want to build lots of infrastructure in terms of cold storage. And these are all small farmers, tribal farmers coming from Kosi region, or farmers coming from Nal Sarovar area, or farmers coming from Nagarjuna Sagar and all. So we see lots of schemes, but then these schemes are not reaching to the ground level. And lots of challenges are there in terms of new incorporated FFPOs. So I would like to ask if people can come forward, support us, because it's a matter of 1,600, it can become 16,000 farmers also. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a question for me. NCDC, our official, NCDC official also here. So through NCDC and National Fisheries Development Board, I think our FFPOs, Fish Farmers Producer Organizations, throughout the country we are doing, with CBOs, Cluster-Based Business Organization. As far as your other things is concerned, establishment of facilities, for the tribal community and all those things. So we are already working with Agricultural Skill Council of India. NFDB is working in a big way. So we clearly mentioned them to come out with the plan exactly. So considering all our total topography, northeastern things may be entirely different. Himalayan states are entirely coastal states. All these things. So we already one round of discussion we had, that first part. Second part is proposal can come through in two ways. One is directly under central scheme, okay, where 100% funding possible. Then other one is entrepreneurship. So private entrepreneur, if they come out with 4 to 5 crores or 6 crores, directly they can apply to the NFDB. They need not route through state government. So directly they can apply to the NFDB. So up to 30% subsidy they can get. For example, if it is a particular, tribal community or the scheduled caste or woman category with any caste, okay. If they come, so up to 1.5 crore subsidy is available in the entrepreneur model. Suppose 5 crores is a project, 1.5 crores non-refundable subsidy is available. Only two major rules. One is she or he supposed to take minimum loan, and land should be in their name or 10 years lease. If these two, if they, have the document, so it is true. Within 3 to 4 months, so the project can be taken up with NFDB, we can do it. It's not an issue. So if the small scale farmers are there, where they can spend, I think 1 crore, 2 crore, 3 crore, something like that, definitely they can straight away approach to the NFDB. Or through, you want to establish some community, a tribal community and all those things, basic facility, then you can apply to directly the central scheme through NFDB or any state government. We can work with that. If you can just meet me sometime in private, so I'll brief you all the things, right? Thank you. The last question, if anybody is there, otherwise we'll wind up. Yeah, one more, yeah.
Hello, my name is Sachin Deshpande. I have a question is that I just wanted to emphasize one of the successful model which has been already implemented in terms of the cluster model, which is there in Pune. So one of the suggestions would be to have a cluster model for whatever cold chain we are doing. It would be a best possible way, because one of the model which has been successfully implemented in Pune region is wherein the MSMEs are coming together and they have a common facility center, and wherein they are making, because what happens, MSMEs or startups or something, they are not able to afford probably high ticket or capital kind of things. So this is one of them. Probably I can. Is it for fisheries you are talking, or any other food? Fisheries. Okay. Fisheries only. I have certain suggestions. Probably I'll set up a time with you. And
yeah. If you can just present maybe 30, 40 minutes with us with NFDB officials. So definitely we'll see your thing.
Sure.
So if it is good model, definitely. We want someone like you to replicate to the other part. Then we'll do it. Yeah.
Thanks.
So we'll, with this, actually, this very fruitful discussion we had, so I'm sure you're all aware of this, our panelists and the speakers. If you still you have something, you can email them, so that they will reply to that. Honorable Minister, anything you would like to convey, sir? Fine, yeah. We'll give mementos. Yeah. So I request our Honorable Minister Tripura to hand over the mementos to our speakers as well as our panelists. Yeah. First, I'll invite Mr. Ashim Podeder. Dr. Shane Kumar. Yeah, Dr. Ashish Kumar Jha. Dr. Karthikeyan. Yeah. That is easy. Dr. Rajesh. Mr. Kenny Thomas. Yeah. Mr. Gnanandar. We have our moderator, Mr. Satyam. Please come now. Yeah. Ajay. Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. It's fine. Yeah. Thank you, sir. No, it's fine. I am the host. Thank you. Yeah.